In the heart of the Mende lands, nestled between rolling hills and winding rivers, lived a young woman named Kumba. Her beauty was matched only by her grace, and her wisdom ran deeper than the roots of the ancient baobab tree. As the daughter of Makessa, the revered healer of their village, Kumba was destined to follow in her mother's footsteps. She spent her days gathering herbs, tending to the sick, and listening to the whispers of the spirits that her mother often spoke of. Kumba's future was written long before her birth. Her father, Damba, a respected elder, had arranged for her to marry Lambo, the son of a powerful neighboring chief. The union was meant to strengthen their tribe, to forge alliances that would keep their people safe from the ever-present threat of rival clans. But Kumba's heart, it beat to a different rhythm. It was not Lambo who captured her gaze. It was By, a warrior from the rival clan of the Bendu. Tall and strong, with a heart as fierce as his spear, By was everything she had been warned against. Their clans had been enemies for generations, bound by ancient blood feuds and grievances buried deep in the earth. The feud was a scar that both clans bore, and any union between them would be a betrayal, a spark to ignite old flames of war. By first saw Kumba on a quiet evening when the moon was full and the village was wrapped in the soft glow of its light. She was collecting herbs by the riverbank, her hands gently plucking leaves as her soft humming echoed through the trees. He watched her from afar, entranced by her movements. Her beauty was like nothing he had ever seen, and her calm presence drew him like the river flows to the sea. Though By was a warrior, trained in battle and taught to despise Kumba's people, his heart betrayed him. He approached her that night, stepping cautiously out of the shadows, and when their eyes met, it was as if the world had stopped. She should have fled, should have cried out to warn the village of the intruder from the enemy clan, but instead, her curiosity held her still. "What is your name?" By had asked, his voice deep and warm, yet laced with the uncertainty of a forbidden meeting. "Kumba," she replied softly, her eyes searching his, as though trying to unravel the mystery of why she hadn't already run. And from that moment on, the moon became their witness, the silent guardian of their growing love. Under its watchful eye, they met in secret, beneath the great baobab tree by the river, where no one from either clan ventured. Their love blossomed like a forbidden flower in the heart of a war-torn land. Kumba's laughter became By's song, and By's strength became Kumba's shield. They shared dreams of a world where love was not chained by hatred, where two people could choose each other without the weight of their clans upon their shoulders. But love, when born in the shadows, cannot remain hidden forever. As time passed, whispers began to spread. It was Lambo, Kumba's betrothed, who first noticed her absences, her distant gazes across the village. He confronted her father, who in turn demanded answers from Kumba. Trapped between her love for By and her duty to her family, Kumba lied, claiming she had been visiting sacred sites to seek the guidance of the ancestors. It was a lie that could only last so long. One fateful evening, as By and Kumba met beneath the moon's glow, they were discovered. Lambo, who had followed Kumba, emerged from the shadows, his face twisted in anger and betrayal. The scene was one of rage and heartbreak. Lambo raised his spear, ready to strike By down, but Kumba, with tears in her eyes, stepped between them. "I love him!" she cried, her voice echoing through the trees. "No matter what you do, you cannot take that from me." But love, in the eyes of their people, was not enough to justify such a betrayal. By and Kumba were dragged back to their villages, torn apart from each other, their fates left in the hands of the elders. Kumba's father, though devastated, knew that the consequences of such a union could mean war. By, too, faced the wrath of his people. His fellow warriors called him a traitor, a man who had brought shame to his lineage. Days passed, and the tension between the two clans reached a boiling point. The village chiefs met beneath the old council tree, surrounded by their people, the air thick with the scent of burning torches and the murmur of unrest. Both sides demanded justice. "This love is an insult to our ancestors," one elder declared, his voice booming through the gathering. "The union of our people with those we have fought for generations is a betrayal of the highest order." "If we allow this, what is next?" another shouted. "Will our enemies become our brothers? Will we forget the blood that was spilled?" But amidst the shouts of anger, there was a softer voice. It was Kumba's mother, Makessa, the village healer, who stepped forward. She had seen the strength of her daughter's love and the pain it had brought. With a heavy heart, she spoke of the choice that lay before them. "Do we destroy love to preserve hatred?" she asked, her words gentle but firm. "Or do we honor the spirit of the ancestors by allowing what is pure and true to flourish?" The council was torn. Some argued for exile, others for execution. But in the end, it was the spirits of the ancestors themselves, as revealed in the sacred dreams of the village seer, who made the final decision. Bai and Kumba would be allowed to leave, to walk away from their clans and never return. They would be exiled, but their lives would be spared. On the night of their departure, the village gathered to watch them go. Bai and Kumba, hand in hand, stood at the edge of their homes, the moonlight illuminating their path. Their hearts were heavy, knowing that they were leaving behind their families, their people, and their land. But they were also free, free to love without the chains of tradition, free to build a future together. As they walked into the night, the wind carried the whispers of the ancestors, a reminder that even in a land divided by hatred, love could find a way. And beneath the Mende moonlight, where the river sings and the trees sway, Bai and Kumba's love story became a legend, one that would be told for generations, a tale of love that dared to defy tradition. Kumba and Bai walked hand in hand into the vast unknown, leaving behind the only world they had ever known. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with dangers both seen and unseen, but as long as they had each other, they believed they could overcome anything. The weight of their exile pressed heavily on them, but with each step, they felt a strange sense of freedom, a future they could shape on their own terms, without the watchful eyes of their clans or the constraints of ancient hatred. The moon, their constant companion, shone brightly above them, casting its silver light on the path ahead. It was under this very moon that their love had first bloomed, and now it guided them into a new chapter of their lives. They followed the river, the lifeblood of the land, hoping it would lead them to safety. Days passed as they ventured deeper into the wilderness, away from the territories of their clans. They faced many challenges: wild animals, treacherous landscapes, and the loneliness of being cut off from their people. But in those quiet moments when the fire crackled and the stars stretched out above them, Kumba and Bai found strength in each other. Kumba, with her knowledge of herbs and healing, made sure they were safe and healthy, while Bai, with his warrior instincts, protected them from any threats that came their way. Together, they were a force that could not be broken, united by a love that grew stronger with every passing day. Weeks after their departure, they came across a small, isolated village nestled between the mountains. The village was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Its people were kind, welcoming, and unburdened by the feuds and conflicts that had torn their homelands apart. Here, no one knew of their past or the weight of the names they carried. They were simply two strangers seeking a place to start anew. The village elder, an old man with wise, kind eyes, welcomed them with open arms. "Here," he said, "we judge no one by their past. If you wish to stay, you are welcome. But know this: here we live by peace and understanding. No hatred, no old grudges. Only the present matters." For the first time since they had been torn from their people, Kumba and Bai felt hope. They stayed in the village, building a small hut by the river, much like the one where their love had first begun. In time, Kumba's skills as a healer became invaluable to the villagers, and Bai, with his warrior's strength, became a protector for the people. As the seasons passed, their love blossomed even more deeply. They lived a quiet, peaceful life, tending to the needs of their community and growing closer as partners. Under the moonlit nights, they would sit by the river, reminiscing about their journey, grateful for the life they had built together. But their story did not end there. As Kumba and Bai grew older, the village prospered, and their love became a symbol of hope and unity. They had left behind the chains of hatred, the legacy of violence that had bound their people for generations. And in doing so, they had created a new legacy, one of love, compassion, and understanding. Their story spread beyond the borders of the village, carried by travelers who spoke of the legendary couple who had defied their clans for love. It became a tale whispered by elders to their children, a story of two people who had the courage to choose love over war, unity over division. They had lived a life of love, peace, and fulfillment, and though they missed their families and the lands they had once called home, they knew that they had made the right choice. As the moonlight bathed them in its soft glow, Kumba turned to Bai, her heart full of gratitude. "We did it, my love," she whispered. "We found a way." Bai smiled, his eyes filled with the same love and admiration that had drawn him to her all those years ago. "We did," he replied softly, taking her hand in his. "And now, our story will live on, forever under the Mende moonlight." Lesson learned from this story: love conquers all tribulations. What did you learn from this story? Please leave your comment below this video. Thank you for watching.